What's up, Paracrews? I'm Paradomics, and welcome to Her Lie I Tried to Believe, a visual novel horror game? I don't really know if it's a horror game or not, but this game actually has it gave me a warning, says there will be sensitive topics around it. I don't know, probably about suicide, depression, or maybe like all it says is that it's not for kids, and all the characters here are above 18. So, anyways, let's start this. Oh, I wonder why I didn't notice it at that time. The meaning behind it all. Now that I understand it, I can say with certainty that my life would have been completely different if I'd seen through it sooner. Was I too insensitive? Maybe I simply didn't want to answer. No matter. Maybe you will see the truth where I couldn't. Okay. So basically we play as this dude who fucking hates this girl. Just this one girl. He fucking hates her. And I don't know the story about all this except for that premise. Okay. It all started in elementary school. Not middle school or high school, but elementary school. Just to give an idea of how long she's been tormenting me. Yes, a girl. It's always about the girl, isn't it? Couldn't have been a rivalry between boys. No, it had to be a girl. Fuck! I can't exactly give a specific time for when this happened. I guess it just kinda turned out that way. The moment I laid my eyes on her, I knew I would. Hate her. That's what you get when you simp. She was tall. Well, not tall, but still taller than me back then. You know how it goes. Her hair was not very long. Boyish would be probably the good way to describe it. But then again, this was common during elementary school years. Her strength must have been similar to mine even. Her features resemble most of the girls. She wasn't special, that's for sure. She had brown eyes and black hair. A cute little girl, and it stopped at that. Just that. Still, there was one thing. One indescribable small thing that separated her from the rest of those pure girls. Jesus Christ. Her eyes. There was something about them. I'm not talking about twinkles or anything of that sort. I'm talking about something darker. Something that doesn't belong to a kid. But she hid it. Or at least she tried to. It worked with most people, but not with me. I wonder if she saw the same thing in my eyes. Maybe that's why I felt so much contempt for her. Maybe that's why she answered the contempt with some unknown feelings of her own. I don't know how it happened. Did she provoke me Did she provoke me first? Or was I the one pushing this perception of us in the sole foundation of our relationship? The fact that we were rivals. I think it all started because she beat me at running. She beat me at pretty much everything, really. But I think running was something much more perceivable. That's why it weighed so heavily in my mind. Being beaten by a girl. And it wasn't as if she's talented for running or anything. I was simply that mediocre of a runner, and that was that. To be honest, I probably would have been fine if it hadn't been for that annoying smile. Man, this guy really has a lot of issue. But I won't blame him. To be beaten by a girl, the humility. I wouldn't even wanna. Like I swear, if I get beaten by a girl, I would have pushed that girl in the ground. I would be like, nah, you didn't beat me. I beat you. You got that? You dumb bitch. So I wouldn't blame him for feeling that way. But if she smiles at you, that's not a big problem. I guess for him, it's like it was like provoking him. It's like, I beat you. Are you okay? Are you fine? Maybe that kind of smile, but that's how he felt. I'm pretty sure that girl wasn't doing anything wrong. Oh God, jeez! Stop doing that! Stop doing with the random zoom-ins. I do the zoom-ins. I'm the master of zooming. That smile, always teasing me so brightly, and it wasn't that attractive either. I mean, more often than not, she was missing some baby teeth due to growth. So, but once again, I don't completely remember why she started doing it. But every time she won a race against me in PE, she would look at me with that smile and say,
Better luck next time, Tim.
I don't know. She's a girl. I can't give her that voice. She's like a little girl. I can't give her that voice.
Better luck next time, Tim.
For me at that time, there was no greater insult. For a boy who's trying to differentiate himself from others in an environment such as elementary school, being beaten and laughed at by a girl, there's no way I could not take it personally. I couldn't not take this personally. I could not take it personally, is basically what he said. So I kind of made it my life's mission to beat her every opportunity I could. Well, you better not physically beat her. But sadly for me, I was just an average boy. And although she was also just an average girl, she was still slightly better than I was. In fact, I think it was simply a game for her. Something to put a smile on her face, to feel proud about. Seeing me failing and looking so irritated by that, she might have thought I was also having fun somehow. It was only when winter came that she understood the full depths of my feelings. What? We were playing King of the Hills on a snowy hillock with a couple of other kids. I say we, but we weren't really friends, or even acquainted for that matter. We knew each other's names, and that was pretty much it. Maybe what came next made even more of an impact because of that, because no one was really playing aggressively. We were kind of just pushing each other off the top of the mountain to claim it on our own. But when I saw her, that girl with that smile, climb the mountain, trying to take even this fleeting achievement from me, I kind of snapped. I remember thinking, this is mine. She won't take it away from me. And she didn't, because I grabbed her with every ounce of my strength I could muster and threw her at the bottom of the hill, directly onto the hard ground. It must have hurt. It must have hurt really bad. But this simply didn't register for me. I was completely euphoric over the idea that I had protected what was mine. Then I finally beaten her at something. I guess our strengths were really no match after all. Well, that is true. You know, I'm not saying all girls are weak. There are legit bodybuilder girls that could beat the shit out of me. But like, in general, like growing as a small child, basically, depending on the health, if like your normal health, you're normal, the boys would actually be physically better than the girls. Slightly, or like maybe a bit more, but just saying, a boy would actually beat a girl physically. Now again, not trying to spark sexism or girl versus boy argument in the comments. I'm just saying that it is true. There are facts that many boys would actually be physically stronger than a girl at an early age. Then later, if the boy was basically not doing anything to increase his strength and the girl does, then yeah, the girl could technically beat the boy. But again, there was elementary. There was no push-ups. Then again, it's strange. But then again, running versus pushing is kind of a different thing. So yeah. For some reason, the other kids were all tending to her with worries in their eyes. Finally, I understood that I had done something wrong. Their reproach glares told me so. Yet I didn't feel bad about it. I didn't feel as if I was in the wrong here. I mean, this girl who had been tormenting me, humiliating me for so long. So why should I be the one apologizing? Like hell I would. How could outsiders possibly understand how I feel anyway? Finally, the girl, Cassandra, got to her feet painfully. No, not Cassie, no! Cassie, no! Not you, Cassie. I love you. Please, this is not the Cassie I know. Gosh damn it, you had to share the same name. Oh yeah, by the way, I call her Cassie's her nickname. Her real name is Cassandra. Damn it! She didn't cry. She didn't try to elicit any compassion from those around her. No, she just looked at me. Oh shit. Looked at me with those eyes. That's when I knew she finally understood my feelings. That's when I knew she finally started hating me. It's like, yeah, what you got, bitch? She became serious. The rivalry I had thought we had was nothing more than normality to her. So, by seriously trying to beat me at everything, she became one of, if not the best student in our class. How ironic to think that she had never taken me seriously before, to think that my desperation to beat her at something had in reality only helped her in bringing forth her true potential. Sure, I eventually became better too, but she finally reciprocated my hatred. But still, in the end, she always had the last word. Her smile changed too. The once faint but noticeable warmth no longer emanated from it. It was cold, like the thing I thought I had once seen in her eyes. She finally looked at me the way I had always looked at her. I guess I had opened her eyes, and she saw me for who I truly was. I didn't feel bad about it. At least, I thought I didn't. If I had any feelings back then, they were probably numbed by overbearing things we call ego. She also stopped saying her usual lines when she beat me. She did continue to say something, alright, but it was no longer an annoying line. Instead, it's something like, "Are you even trying?" And said it as often as she could. She no longer said it when we were simply competing against each other at running, but also when we receive our report cards and even during games of chance. My elementary school life ended with an extremely bitter aftertaste. I had become the laughingstock of my class, and I somehow helped Cassandra become even better than she already was. A complete defeat indeed, and there would be no other chances for me to prove my worth. I knew there would. A chance to crush her, that is. Middle school brought some changes with it. Well, not right away, but in the second part of the first year for sure. I became taller, or maybe she became shorter. I don't know. Since she was the only person I ever looked at, she more or less became my sole reference when it comes to any kind of physical change. I could hardly believe it, yet it was something anyone could have predicted. Me becoming taller than her. For some unknown reason, we still ended up in the same class. By chance, we chose the same program. Disgustingly enough, our hatred towards each other was simply very much real. So it was like we simply picked things up from where we had left off at elementary school. Oh, she's not smiling anymore. Her hair was longer now. Little by little, her body started to take shape in ways which made it very difficult to view her as a kid she had been. Only a few years ago, even if I could see the beauty she was becoming, yet somehow I was still repulsed by her. Similarly, I changed drastically too. I became taller, I gained some mass along the way. Once again, I was still very much an average guy, but I tried my best to keep my body in shape in order to eventually win against her. And it paid off. Then again, it could have simply been a result of my obvious changes. But in any case, I finally started gaining the upper hand, at least during PE and other physical competition. I was no longer chasing her. Now she was the one chasing me. "Can you show me a little bit of determination?" That was my line. What a joke, really. I couldn't even think of anything clever to say, so I just stole her line and made it my own. I didn't stop at that. I wanted my back to be as far in front of her as it could possibly be. So I started playing basketball to build up stamina, to keep up my body in good shape. And in no time at all, I became somewhat popular. Though I didn't really think I was any good. It was just that my entire team was bad, that's all. Anyway, popularity didn't interest me. My eyes were still very much locked on her at all times. Sure, I played the card of being the cool kid, faking it to enjoy everyone's eyes on me. But that was just another way to get back at her. Cassandra. Even her name makes me shudder. She had been popular in the elementary school, but now she became kind of gloomy and reclusive. Look at how happy I've become, and envy me. That's how I tried to act in front of her. That's how I wanted her to make her feel whenever she saw me. But no matter how much space this irritating smile took upon my face, no matter my accomplishment, she never once looked at me. That's when I realized she had lost all interest in our rivalry. It was only natural. I mean, she no longer had a chance against me when it came to physical performance. So I decided to shift gear. If I want to take everything from her, I needed to build up not only my body, but also my mind. To think that bitch is ignoring me like that, I'll make her understand just how much she made me suffer. Wow, this guy has grudge issues. Fucking hell. Somebody called the grudge girl because I think I found the grudge boy. It took me a long time to improve my grades. A long time indeed. It was all but natural to me. In the end, I had no other choice but to drop out the basketball team to focus on my studies. As middle school ended, it felt like she was one step ahead of me. If it wasn't actually the case, she sure acted like it was. She stopped teasing me, stopped looking proud of her achievements, stopped looking at me altogether. It was as if snubbing me was her new way of getting back at me for everything. That glimpse of darkness I see in her eyes was now the only thing perceivable in her feature. High school finally came, but luck was not on my side this time around. We no longer had any classes in common, unfortunately enough. Luck? Unfortunately? I wonder why I looked at it that way. Probably because tormenting her gave me so much satisfaction. It didn't matter though. I could still compete her in midterm exams and the like. All I needed to do was to keep on my studies until I inevitably beat her at her own game. Or at least that's how my logic went. My popularity had already deteriorated, almost to the point where it could be called non-existent. But there were girls that confessed their love to me from time to time. I always turned them down though. If I had time to mess around with girls, I probably had time to study even harder. Oh, what the fuck? You got even... Dude, this dude's even getting girls to come in for her. Jesus, man. This guy's got grudge issues. Jeez. Oh, well, look at that. I actually have not been paying attention to the background. There's an X here. There's a heart there. And there's a... whatever the fuck that is. Just imagine like seeing her in the corner here. That would be creepy as fuck. In any case, that's how I tried to keep myself focused. So you'll understand why I felt pretty stupid when I first saw her with a boy. Until then, she hadn't seemed to show any interest in the opposite sex. I wonder why it changed now. Changed now of all times. What? Oh, she had a boyfriend. And it... oh, okay. Sure, she was quite good looking. She had become a lot more feminine than she used to be. No wonder she was popular with the boys. But because I was watching her for so long, I couldn't wrap my head around it. I mean, why now of all times? I was mad. I was disappointed. I felt humiliated. So does this mean she doesn't need to study as much as I do to beat me? Is that what she's trying to convey here? No, she's basically, she grew up, dude. She basically, fuck you. I'm not gonna continue this childish rivalry we have because it's gonna fuck up my life. This made me even put more effort into my studies. Oh, now it's the other way around. You know how he humiliated her and then she did really good in elementary? Now, for some reason, he feels like he's being humiliated by her and he's doing even better in everything else. How ironic. And the funny part is she's not even doing it on purpose, or that's how I see it. I mean, the way he's portraying it kind of sounds like she's doing it to mock him, but to a normal person, that kind of sounds like she just moved on to this silly rivalry. It's not going your way this time around, that's for sure. I was convinced I would crush her during midterms. So you can imagine my surprise when I actually did. The grades were top 50 students were displayed on a sheet of paper in the main hall of the school. Usually she was positioned at the top 5. I was in the top 10. But this time, it went the other way around. How could this be? I was angry. I should have been overjoyed, but I wasn't. How could I be? It wasn't supposed to be this way. The margin between the two of us was too large. It was simply impossible. I remember how right then and there, I looked around me, really pissed off. That's when our eyes met. For the first time at least a year and a half, our eyes found each other so naturally. Whereas mine were extremely cold, hers were as passionate as ever, as if she had not changed at all in all those years. She even smiled at me, disgustingly so. I walked up to her, unable to keep my cool. What's wrong with you? I blurted out as if there was an intimacy in our relationship, when in reality, it was the first time I had spoken to her since middle school. Oh? Excuse me? She said to me, trying to look as if she didn't know the reason for my forceful approach. What a great actress she is, as if my sudden outburst is somehow unwarranted. Is this because of your new boyfriend? Is this jealousy I hear? She's doing it on purpose. Don't fuck with me. I took hold of her collar aggressively and looked at her directly in the eye. Whispers started reaching my ears around us about how I'm going to hit her and how scary I look and about how someone should stand up to me and say something. Yet she doesn't look scared at all. She reciprocates my stares and simply waits for my words. What is with those grades? Are you not taking it seriously anymore? Now that you have a boyfriend? Is that it? My grades? So all of this because of my grades? Her eyes became stern. The inoffensive smile she had once had on her face disappeared viciously. Tell me, why is it? Why is it she's changing all of a sudden? This shouldn't happen. I won't let it happen. Why, you ask? I don't know. I just lost interest, that's all. Don't give me that shit. I know you. You know what? She pushes me upon hearing my words. I lose the hold to have her as a result. You know nothing, Tim. You. Whatever. You better get your act together next time or else what? A guy pops out of nowhere and suddenly puts his hand on my shoulder in a warning of some kind. Is this guy troubling you, Cass? I shake his hand off of me and walked away without much as looking back. Next time, I'll show you who's the best between us. You better prepare yourself. I think she said something back to me, but I didn't hear it or care about it. I was too extremely infuriated by her detached attitudes to see or hear anything going on around me. People were probably looking at me with disdain in their eyes, but it didn't matter to me. Dude! The fuck is this? Her lie I tried to believe. What the fuck is she? Does her lie mean she's trying to be better than him? And that's the lie that he believes? Is that the lie that he believes? He believes that she's trying to be better than him when she is obviously not? I don't know. Maybe here's the thing. Here's my big theory about all this. I think though that Cassandra actually is not really that good at all. Like, the only time she's good is when they were kids. But when she grew up, nothing mattered to her. Basically, I don't know. Because what I gathered so far is that she doesn't seem like she's interested at this rivalry, or she realized she's on this rivalry shit when it became middle school. I don't know. But I'm gonna end the video here though. It's not cliffhanger or anything. We all know what happened. We're about to have a tussle. But this is interesting. I want to know more. I want to see how this ends. And I think this is just a visual novel, just reading one line. I don't know if there's multiple endings or there wasn't really much of a choice between the game here. It was basically just reading. But that's it, I guess. And with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, thumbs up the like button to death. Become a packer today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. That's not a picture. I grow. Actually, like this. Let's keep my light on Eddie. It'll calm her down, but actually she just doesn't want the light to be on her face the entire time. Well, too bad, because this is what we're gonna be doing the entire time. Oh God!